Hi everybody, my name is Patty Fletcher. I am owner-creator of Tell It to the World Marketing, author, blogger, business assist, and you're listening to Talk to Tell It to the World Marketing. Before we get to today's featured guest, let me give a thank you to our sponsors. Casey Matthews of Web Friendly Help, our audio editor and podcast producer. If you're looking for someone to tame your technology, or if you need a virtual assistant to help you navigate through the wild world of internet surfing, Casey is your go-to guy. Check him out at webfriendlyhelp.com. I'd also like to say thank you to the provider of our theme music, John Crawford of John Crawford's School of Music. John has many magnificent musical talents, so be sure to check him out on Facebook at John Crawford's School of Music. Now offering music lessons via FaceTime and other video chat options. And now, our featured guest. Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of Talk to Tell It to the World Marketing. Today I have with me from across the pond author Victoria, and I hope I say this name right, Zigler, and she is going to speak with us today about herself and her writing journey and anything else that she feels comfortable with. Victoria, I know you like to go by Tori, so we'll just call you Tori, and we are going to just leap right in. So introduce yourself and talk to people about who you are, from where you come, and anything else personal that you are comfortable sharing.
Well, like you said, my name is Victoria, but I prefer Tori. I only publish as Victoria because I promised my mom I would. So that's why I don't just use Tori on my books, even though it's what I prefer to be called. Anyway, I come from Wales originally, but now I'm living on the south coast of England near Hastings with a husband and a bunch of animals. And I'm completely blind, having lost my sight to glaucoma, but I can still write, so it didn't stop me doing the thing I really wanted to do anyway, which was my writing.
Magnificent. So I like to have my writers take us on the journey of their writing path and their writing career. And so talk to us about where that path began and take us through a little at a time. Talk to us about how you got started, maybe what led up to it, and talk to us about each one of your books in turn.
Well, I know it's like a lot of people say this, but I actually really have been writing for as long as I can remember. I learned to read and write really young because my brothers were doing it, and if they were doing it, I wanted to. So I could actually basically read and write by the age of 3. And so after I learned how to read and write, I wanted to do it myself. So by the time I was in full-time school, I was actually already attempting quite badly at the time, but we all start off badly, to write stories and poems of my own.
That's awesome. And I know that a lot of people say it, and the thing is, I believe a lot of people really mean it. I think that those of us who are storytellers have always been so. I was telling stories at a very young age. I started out emulating storytellers. I saw a storyteller at something I attended once, and just kind of got hooked on that. And that led to writing, and that led to this thing and that thing. And so, talk to us about your books. Talk to us about each one of them. Tell us about them and what they are, and what a little about what they're about, and um, that sort of thing. Just go
Well,
through them.
I actually have quite a few books, more than 50 of them,
Oh
actually.
wow! So maybe we should talk about your most, talk about the ones that are, you think are the most important in your. Oh, I don't even know if that's appropriate. So just talk to us about them, and maybe the ones that you want to profile the most, and then we'll talk about where people can find them all. That's a lot of books. So you've been writing. Tell, when did you begin to publish? Let's start
Uh, I,
there.
st- I started to publish in 2012. The first book I actually published was a collection of my poems called Mr. Pumpkinhead and Other Poems,
Oh, I love that. I like that. Appropriate for this time of year.
which it was published in the April. Mr. Pumpkinhead is the name of a poem of mine that was quite popular amongst the readers of my blog. So I picked that and a few other poems to publish in it, and that was what I started with. And then after that, I published a book every month or so, give or take, for the first couple of years, because some of it was new stuff, other stuff was just edited work that I'd written before, which I obviously improved on, because first drafts are never ready to be published. So I've got about 9 collections of poetry out now. Some of them are just generic collections like Mr. Pumpkinhead and other poems. Some are specifically pet related, like puppy poems and rodent rhymes is one of those. And others are themed collections like catching snowflakes and other poems. And a collection I've got called The Leaf Monster and Other Children's Poems.
Wow.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've been a really busy writer. I liked what you said about how you took and used material that you already had, that you had written over the years, and that enabled you to publish a lot of books at one time, over and over again. And I don't think sometimes, I hear writers talk about, I don't have anything to I don't have anything to write, or I don't have anything to publish, or I'm stuck in writer's block or whatever. And I just wonder if people realize how much stuff they actually do have lurking in their documents somewhere.
Yeah, well, that's why I did it that way, because I mean, you need time to write things, but I thought, well, I've got all this stuff that I've written before, so why not make use of it? So I was working on some new stuff, like my Toby Tales books, which are a series about a little boy adjusting to sight loss, which is based on my own experiences of sight loss and the struggles that you deal with trying to do just everyday tasks, and ways that those can be made easier. And my Kiro's World books, which are stories from the point of view of my dog, inspired by the blog posts I was doing before, which I've started doing again, from the point of view of my pets, which were very popular with my readers. But then I do some old things like I've got a story, Isabelle's Runaway Racehorse, which was based on a story I actually originally wrote when I was 10, called Running Away at the time, which When I wrote the original version, it was maybe about 1,000 words long, and the new version is more like about 5,000 words long, because I added to it and tidied it up a lot.
Right. So you had a springboard to work from. See, I have that. I do that. I am my mind is always going. And so I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I've got an idea swimming around in my head and I've got to put it somewhere. It'll drive me nuts. And so I get up and I write it. And then maybe I don't do anything with it again for days, or maybe by 6 o'clock in the morning, I've developed a blog post. I've been asked before, how do you blog so much? Because I use what I have. And I think that's wonderful that you have done that. And I also really enjoyed when Tori has been on my blog and was a featured author of the week. And I really enjoyed reading about your Toby tales. I think that is so wonderful when you can take your own, we're always told, write what you know, write what you know, write what you know. And so I think it's wonderful that you took your own experiences of losing your vision and turned it into something positive, and you didn't let that vision loss stop you.
Well, at first I sort of did struggle a little bit.
That's to be expected, yeah.
But after a while, I kind of reached a place where it was like, well, okay, so I lost the last of my sight. Okay, so I can still do things, even if they got to be done differently. And I didn't get a lot of support through that from anyone outside of my family. So I didn't really feel like anyone other than my family who were there seeing it happen, and also had been through it with my brother, because my brother had sight trouble as well, and then lost his sight in a car accident at the age of 2.
Oh my.
So I didn't really feel like anyone gave anyone support, and I wanted to write something to show everyone, look, you're not alone, and there's ways you can do things if you just adapt them slightly. And when I tried to do that, I was really struggling, and a friend of mine said, well, maybe you're too close to the subject. Try taking it from a different angle. Look, you like to write for children, so instead of trying to write something specifically to help people, try just writing a story about a child that's dealing with it. And so I sat down with that idea, and next thing I know, I've got 5 books on the topic.
Oh, that's so wonderful. It's just amazing. It's amazing what we can do when somebody just gives us a little nudge in that direction. Once we kind of crack the door open, it's like whatever was waiting inside shoves it open and says, okay, I am here and ready for you to make me real. And I just think that is magnificent.
It's a wonderful feeling when that happens.
It's liberating, isn't it?
It is.
Did that help you in your own struggle?
Yes, it did, because having to figure out how Toby was going to cope with it sort of helped me with seeing, look, that's all you've got to do. Just do this and you can do the kinds of things you were doing before. It's not so bad.
Well, I know that I read some of your blog. I tell people all the time that I wish that I had time. I wish I were a millionaire so I could just sit with my feet propped up and read blogs. I'm addicted to blogs, but I've read some of your blog, and I've also seen the response when I had you guesting on my blog. People do really seem to enjoy your work. Talk to us about some of your other things and what you've written, and what kind of reactions you've had, what kind of things you've written and stuff.
Well, I've got everything from animal stories to fairy tale retellings, and some fantasy stories featuring things like fairy dragons,
Oh,
which are small dragon type creatures that have some fairy blood in them and are about the size of a baby dragon, about the size of a large house cat.
oh, my.
They were quite popular. I wrote a standalone story featuring them, and they were so popular that I had people begging me for more. So I ended up writing a 4 book series.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
Um,
fabulous. I also understand that you write poetry. Talk to us a little about poetry.
um, some of my poetry is based on things like nature and that kind of thing. And others is pet related. I've got a lot of pet related ones, which including one that I could read to you if you like about dogs, which I wrote for our Westie Lily when she was a puppy,
Oh,
which it could apply to any dog, but she was just sleeping peacefully, and then she started to show signs she was dreaming. She'd
oh,
like
I love
whimper
it
in
when
her
they do that.
sleep, and I just love when they do that.
Yeah.
So I wrote her a poem, which I can read to you if
Read
you'd
it
like
for
to hear
us.
that.
Yes. Read it for us.
It's called Dream Your Puppy Dream, and it goes, sleep and dream your puppy dreams of things that make you wag your tail, of games of fetch where you prevail, and friends who visit without fail. Sleep and dream your puppy dreams of tennis balls you never lose, of juicy bones and rawhide shoes, of walkies when and where you choose. Sleep and dream your puppy dreams and wag your puppy tail.
Oh, I just really love that. I think that is wonderful. I had this image of a little puppy running all around my kitchen, and I hope I'm not manifesting because I haven't taken care of a puppy in years. But I
Oh,
just
she definitely does run around a lot.
I think it's wonderful when they do that. I know when I first brought Campbell home from guide dog school, he was extremely active, and when he began to get freedom in the house, he was quite the explorer. And I had a storage room, and he managed to get in there and unpack a lot of boxes. So,
Oh, I can believe it. When we first had Lily, she chewed through a modem wire,
oh,
um, chewed her way into an audiobook case and ate the CD.
oh,
Ate
lovely.
some shoes and slippers, and even a pair of trousers at one point. Somehow managed to chew a hole in a pair of steel-toed boots.
Wow. Oh my. Oh, she's just one of the.
Thankfully, she grew out of that.
Yes. Well, speaking of Lily, doesn't she at times interview?
She does. She does I used to call it Fur Kid Friday interview, but I changed it to Petkid Pals because we bought a tortoise earlier this year, who has hosted somebody as well, and it didn't feel right to call it a Fur Kid Friday when it was not all fur kids anymore.
Right. I do remember when you made that change. Yes.
So it's now Pet Kid Pals, where any animal belonging to a writer, whether that be a blogger, a published author, or an aspiring writer, is welcome to come over to be interviewed by one of my pets, depending on the species to which of my pets would be interviewing them, either my chinchilla Molly, the tortoise Artemis, or Lily, who is our little Westie, or possibly Logan, who is a Cavapoo, which is a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel Cross Poodle.
Oh, nice. You do have a menagerie. You really do. That's wonderful. Let's see here. I see here that your books are on Smashwords and Amazon. Oh my goodness, I'm talking backwards. Amazon and Audible, they're everywhere. That is just amazing to me. Okay, I want to talk about this a little because I'm always getting asked questions by clients and authors in general, and social media, everything comes up there. And so, how did you manage to get your work out to such a diverse audience? I think that is amazing.
Well, it started with Smashwords. I
Talk to
ended
us
up
a little about Smashwords, because I get from people that some don't even know about Smashwords, and I find Smashwords is wonderful.
yes, so do I. I found out about it by accident. There was an author who had published her books through that, and she was giving some away. And for most people, she was giving paperbacks. But because of my lack of sight, she agreed that because I'd won the giveaway, that she would give me ebook versions through Smashwords if I agreed to join it, which is free to join. And I thought, well, okay, if she's nice enough to do this, I'll join this random site to get them from her. So I joined Smashwords to get the books. And in the welcome to Smashwords email, it mentioned, here's a book to tell you how to publish on Smashwords. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a look at this. So I took a look at the style guide, and I was reading it, and I was thinking, I could actually do this. I really could. So I mentioned it to my husband, and he said, well, do it then. So I did.
Do it then. I like that.
So I published on Smashwords, but then people were saying, well, aren't they on Amazon? So I did start to put them on Amazon originally, but then Amazon was causing me some issues, so I took them off Amazon for a while. I later returned them to Amazon because I decided that the hassle that they were causing me was not enough really to stop me wanting to have the potential sales. And also knowing about accessibility and the fact that you really want to be able to have books available in as many places as possible, I wanted to make that an option for my readers.
Right.
So I then had the ebooks everywhere that Smashwords distributes, and also Amazon. Plus, I had someone say, well, I prefer to read my books in paperback. So I said, okay, then I'll make them available in paperback. And I started to do that through CreateSpace and now KDP, because they merged the CreateSpace and Amazon. So my books got shipped over, and I just carried on from there. And then I found out about ACX and the fact that I could do a royalty share to get my books in audio. And I always, from the beginning, wished I could have my books in audio, because I know that for a lot of visually impaired people, that's the only way to read.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I thought, you know what, if I can do it without it costing me more than I can afford, then it's definitely worth it, because I want people to be able to have the option to listen. So I started producing them in audio as well, which they're only on iTunes and Audible for that, because ACX makes you be exclusive if you're doing it royalty share. And with how many books I've got, even though it wouldn't cost very much per book to pay for the production, it kind of adds up.
You're listening to Talk to Tell It to the World Marketing, sponsored by Pennsylvania author and artist Linda McKinney Lambert. Buy her books, follow her blog, see her art and more at lindalambert.com. Linda is spelled with a Y. And by author, proofreader, editor Jo Elizabeth Pinto. Buy her books, hire her for proofreading and editing services at brightsideauthor.com. Also by Heidi Lambert McClure of Sassafras Hill Studio. Handmade gifts, jewelry, and more at facebook.com/Sassafras Hill Studio. Become a sponsor of or guest on Talk to Tell It to the World Marketing. Email patty.volunteer1@gmail.com. And now, back to Talk to Tell It to the World Marketing. Oh, yes. I have been learning a lot just about audio editing. That alone can be horribly expensive. And so I can't even imagine what having a book recorded could possibly run into. I haven't attempted that yet. I want to do it, but I haven't gotten there yet. So I'm really always in kind of awe of those who have managed it. And so I was looking through your information here and saw all the places where your books are available, and I was just kind of blown away by that. I think that's just kind of amazing. I also wanted to talk a little bit about, and let me look at the name of this one again. Snarly's brother. Talk to us about
Snow Lily's brother.
Yes,
my latest book.
I like the name of that so much.
Snow Lily is Lily's unofficial title. Most of my pets have titles. Some of them officially, like Logan. He's Castellan Logan because he's actually from a breeder. The same breeder who I got Castellan Quiroberos from, which is my Quiro, who gets mentioned a lot with my work because I even use him for Quiroberos Publishing for my publisher name. But Snow Lily's brother is actually the story of Lily adapting to us having Logan in the house because she's 2 years older than him. And was the center of attention apart from, like, we'd have caged animals, but she was the only non-caged animal for 2 years. And she was torn between excitement, yay, I've got a friend to play with, and hang on a minute, he's sharing my stuff. And it was like, oh, yay, friend, and then, wait, that's my ball, kind of thing.
Almost kind of like having a new baby in the house.
Yes, it's very much. I noticed it was very similar to how it would be if you introduced a new sibling to an older sibling. And I thought, this would make a great story and possibly one that parents might want to read to the older sibling if they needed to get the child to understand that there's good things to having a younger sibling. So I wrote their story and I actually published it on the anniversary of the day that we got Logan.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it when stuff like that happens. Did you do that on purpose or was it just kind of how it felt to be?
A little bit of both, because I'd originally planned to be publishing it in late April, early May. But anxiety-related issues from the lockdown kind of put it to the fact that I wasn't going to be ready until the very end of May. And then I realized how close it was to that anniversary, so I delayed it slightly at the end intentionally because I thought, well, if I'm so close, I might as well wait and then have it be on that anniversary. So it was technically a little bit of both.
I think sometimes when things start to fall behind for us and then we finally get them to where they're supposed to be, we can look back on it and go, you know what, that turned out just right.
Yes,
And
it's one of
sometimes,
those things that,
yeah,
like, actually, this is going to work out great.
right. So I want to spell the name of this um, book because um, I mispronounced it to begin with because screen reader, for people who are not visually impaired, screen readers can absolutely make you think something is said one way and it is when you arrow through it, you find out, oh, that is not how it was meant to be at all. So spell the name of that book for those listening, just so that we're clear.
Yes, Snow Lily is spelled Snowlie. And the
Awesome.
reason it is spelt like that is that Lily's name is spelt Lillie because I didn't want
Oh,
her to just be Lily with a Y. I wanted it to be different. So because she's spelt with the IE ending, that's how I wrote Snow Lily.
I gotta tell you what, you are extremely creative. I am just really impressed with you and your creativity. Um, so, how do you have a main website where people can find you, and also your blog? Is there a main place where people can
There,
find all about you?
there is, though, my website designer is a little behind on things. Okay, actually, he's a lot behind on things. So my website's not as up to date as it should be, but it's close enough that you can find out where to get my books and things. And that is at www.zigler.co.uk, which is Zigler is Zigler.co.uk.
Okay. And of course, you have a blog,
Which that is always up to date because I'm in charge of that.
right?
Which is at Zigler News, ZIGLERNEWS, all one word, .blogspot, which is also one word, BLOGSPOT.com.
Wonderful. And I can tell you from visiting Tori's blog that if you go there, you will not be disappointed. It is a quite lovely place to visit. And she offers a lot of stuff there. And so I really recommend that you visit her. Tori, I understand that you have another poem that you'd like to read for us today. I'd like to have you do that for us.
Yeah, this one is the title poem for my collection that's specifically for children, and kind of appropriate for this time of year. But it's also one that it was a big part of my adjustment after sight loss, because I had a little bit of issues with my overactive imagination when I could no longer see anything to verify that what I was imagining didn't exist.
Oh, I've been there.
And this one is called Leaf Monster, and it goes like this: Rustle, rustle, rustle. Someone's following you. Where will you go? What will you do? Rustle, rustle, rustle. It sounds like old, dry leaves. Rustle, rustle, rustle. The leaf monster grieves.
Oh,
What will you do? What will it do when it comes for you? Let's not wait to find out. Run, run as fast as you can. Come on, follow me. Let's get inside. it's the best place to be. We'll be safe when we get inside. The leaf monster can't come in there, so it's the best place to hide. Rustle, rustle, rustle. Hurry, it's on its way.
That is just wonderful. I really like that. I just really like that. I love the way you read it. Oh, I kind of looked over my shoulder. And I also just really know, I can see how, if you are not used to not seeing, when I was a child, the wind frightened me because it created noises.
That's sort of how that one was born. I was actually walking Kiro, and the wind caught some leaves. And although on a conscious level I knew that's all it was, subconsciously it sounded like something was following me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that it was some kind of leaf creature chasing me, and I quite literally almost ran home as best as I could while trying to lead a dog and use a cane at the same time.
Oh, I've been there. Yes, I've had experiences like that when Campbell stopped working and was only, we were only what I called leashing, and I was using my cane. There were a few times when I felt rather vulnerable, and I can absolutely I was where you were when you were reading that poem. I was there with you, completely understand that. Ooh, that was just kind of, and the way you read it, yes. Now I'll go outside in a minute and something will make a noise and I'll be back in the house.
Especially this time of year with the leaves all over the
Yes,
place.
it really is appropriate. Yes, because it is time for the leaves to do their thing. Oh, wow. Um, I try always before I leave, from talking to writers, to ask them, what tidbit of advice do you have for those who are writing, for those who are new or older writers, or anybody in general? What is the one thing that you can advise people that you think is important for that writer life?
Well, the main thing is, it might sound sort of lame, but just do it. Just write. I mean, it might take you a while to get anywhere with it, but if you enjoy writing, then write, and enjoy the process of creating the words. And once you've written something you're happy with, and you've obviously had people help you make sure that it's correctly edited and that kind of thing, just get it out there, because even if there aren't a lot of people who end up wanting to read your book, there'll be someone out there who will love it and who will be glad you wrote it, even if they don't let you know or review the book for you or anything. And you could give them the next book that gives them comfort, or helps them feel they're not alone in a situation, whether you realize it or not. So it's worth it just for that.
Um, I like what you said at the beginning. I want to go back just a moment and say, um, you're talking about how you took things and used them that you had already written, and you're talking about how when you wrote something and it was first written when you were very young and you wrote quite badly, and how we all start out badly. Don't you think that sometimes people are afraid? I look back at my first book and I cringe when I read it because I have learned so much since I first began to write. But we were all new once, and so I like what you say about just do it, just get it. Uh, I've been,
Yeah, we all start out as bad writers. You improve by writing, listen to feedback and that kind of thing. okay, so we all start as bad writers at different stages of our lives, but that's how we all start, and you get better with practice. Even I, after having been writing for most of my life before, and um, being well into my 20s when I actually started to publish stuff, even I look back on my first books that I published and think, oh my God, did I actually publish
Yeah,
that?
I have that same thought. Yes.
You know, but then I got good feedback on them, and I just can be able to say that, yeah, that was good enough to publish, but this new thing, this is better because I've learned and grown as a writer. And actually, some readers like to see that you're learning and growing through your books. I've actually had people say that you can see learning techniques and improving on them, and you can see it. And people actually like to be able to say, look, this person is not assuming they're great at everything they're learning, which is good. You should never stop learning.
No, no, never. I think that's wonderful, wonderful advice. Well, Tori, before we go today, is there anything that you'd like to add or say that I haven't covered here? Anything you'd like to talk about or share?
I actually think you did a great job of covering it, pretty much everything.
I'm always nervous that I'll forget something important, so I want to always ask my person that I'm interviewing. I want to give them a moment to, you know, to say, you forgot this, or I want to mention that, or whatever. So we've given people your website and we've given people your blog. Is there any other way that people can reach out to you? Do you prefer to be reached out to through your websites or through your blog, or are you comfortable giving email?
Both my website and blog do have my social media links because I'm on Facebook with both a personal profile and an author page, which the author page, you're welcome to find the link on the website or blog and follow. The personal profile, I only accept people I know as friends on that. That's why I have them separated.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also on Twitter at Victoria Zigler, and on Goodreads, where you can follow me and see a list of my books on there. But actually, the easiest way to get hold of me is by email, which is at Keroberos, which is KEROBEROUS 2004 at gmail.com. And that's actually the best way to get hold of me because I check my email constantly.
Yeah,
to be honest.
That's wonderful. Well, Tori, I am just pleased and privileged that you joined me here today. I've been nudging you along for a while, and here we are at the end of the podcast, and it has just been a wonderful pleasure having you here today, and thank you so much for joining me.
And thank you for inviting me. And sorry for trying to evade you for so long.
Oh, you're fine. That's there. I always tell people there is no right way or wrong way or anything. There is just a way, and we're here
and
now.
This year has been just one of those years for us all.
Yes, it has been quite daunting to say the least. So it's been really exhausting for all of us. But at the same time, I think we've had some good things too.
Yes.
Well, thank you everyone for listening to us. And if you would like to get in touch with Tori, please do so. Please make sure to read her books. And when you're through, please review. And thank you for being with us today. May harmony find you, and blessed may you be. You've been listening to Talk to Tell It to the World Marketing, brought to you by Casey Matthews of webfriendlyhelp.com. and John Crawford's School of Music, found on Facebook at John Crawford's School of Music. Thank you for listening. May harmony find you, and blessed be.